Here's Tim Miller. I start with you because we were wrong. We were wrong. You and I said Matt Gaetz will be the attorney general. Trump wants to see how low he can go.
Look how happy she is. She's supposed to be a news anchor, man. Look how happy she is, man. Jeez, right.
Apparently, the answer to how low he can go is whatever's sort of above Matt Gaetz, and I don't know.
So now if he says something back to her, if Trump hears this and after she's just dragged his name through the mud, if Trump hears this and he responds to her in kind, not even over the top, not even blows her out the water, just says something back to her, they're going to call him a sexist and a misogynist.
Below Pete Hegseth, I don't know, but it is interesting when you find out what a bridge too far for Donald Trump looks like. Apparently, it looks like Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, the Gaetz eyebrows maybe are the low watermark for him. We were wrong about this, though. The wrongness was based on how these senators will act, right? And Matt Gaetz let them off the hook by withdrawing, right? He didn't force any of those 5 names. Though Lisa Murkowski was pretty public, in fairness to her, but she didn't force any of the other 4 to have to actually vote against him. And I think that will be the question, is where the rubber meets the road on that stuff. It's interesting. Gaetz may have decided to withdraw for other reasons. He might have not wanted the additional details about the apparently 2 encounters with the 17-year-old or the other payments that the New York Times reported on. I think that remains to be seen. I think the big test of that, like of our thesis, which was that these senators will fold to Trump, will be Hegseth and RFK. For a fact that Mitch McConnell, given his past and his commitment to the polio vaccine, is not at all interested in an anti-vaxxer leading HHS. Will he actually stand in the way of RFK Jr.? That'll be one test. And Pete,
what the revelations that you reported last night, take us inside the picture that was emerging of Matt Gaetz.
So what was significant about what we reported is that over the past few days, a lawyer for 2 of the women who said they had sex with Gaetz for money has been out there on television. He's been saying that they testified about that and that this indeed happened. And when we obtained this document from inside the federal investigation of Gaetz, it showed that Gaetz had sent the 2 women thousands and thousands of dollars in money. So it was bolstering the credibility.
Yeah, and I support him stepping down. I'm glad he stepped down because we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need a scandal before Trump gets to the White House. Salute to you, Matt Gaetz, for doing the right thing and stepping down. That's the last thing we need is a scandal. Something they can, trump up and it's all going to come back on Trump because he's the boss man. So this was the right move. This was the right move.
Of these different witnesses. And what you had at that point was a situation in which whether the House Ethics Committee report was going to come out or not, if Gaetz's nomination moved forward, he was going to be in a situation where he had one of 3 choices. He was going to be asked under oath, did you ever pay women for sex? And if he said no, the Democrats were going to point to the testimony from this lawyer and other documentation like this Justice Department document that we had and said, look, that's not true. You could be lying under oath. If he admitted to it, it would have created a different firestorm of it all. Or the third option, which would have perhaps been the most extraordinary, is that he could have taken the Fifth Amendment. And he could have taken the Fifth Amendment and not answered the question. And you would have had a situation in which the incoming attorney general was taking the Fifth Amendment about his actions that were looked at in a Justice Department investigation, a Justice Department in which he was going to be taking over. And Senate Republicans were going to have to basically.
Yeah, that's a non-starter. So good job. I think that he did the right thing. I think this is a wonderful turn of events, man. Get him out of there, man. Go do something else, man. We'll find another job for you, Matt Gaetz.
team to tell them that we were going to go public with this story. We told him it would go public around 12:30, and before he got a statement, he announced that he is withdrawing from his attorney general nomination.
Wow. Wow. We were waiting for that reporting, Paula. We were on pins and needles here.
They're all so happy every time something bad happens. And listen, I understand they're liberals and that's how they feel, but there's a professionalism. We don't need to know that that's how you feel. Just give us the news, lady.
Quietly, I had it all typed up. Yeah.
Quietly in the studio, waiting for you to come with that reporting. And this is certainly huge, huge news that Matt Gaetz, we had just been talking about the question of whether he would do this, given the fact that this was very much a pick that Donald Trump wanted. And I just want to read I'll read all of Matt Gaetz's tweet where he just announced that he was withdrawing. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump Vance transition. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. And he says that he remains fully committed to helping Donald J. Trump. I mean, wow. This is really, really big news. And we knew that this was I wouldn't even say possibility. I would say probability, given so much quiet opposition.
Then why were you so scared? Y'all were terrified. I don't believe that you knew. You guys were horrified by this, man. And even Sonny Hostin went on The View yesterday and smeared his name. You guys have been smearing this guy, trying to force this to happen, and it happened. But you guys were terrified of this guy becoming AG because you knew he was going to go in there in like a Trump hitman and just start taking people out. Rightfully so.
By Republicans, the fact that there was more information coming out, Paula Reed and our colleagues went to them with that information. We were going to report it, and
he's out.
He's out.
This is going to be a huge relief to a lot of Senate Republicans who did not want to have this debate, who did not want to face the first sort of chance to show whether or not they were going to stand up to Donald Trump on something that they disagreed with or not. And it's a blow, certainly, to President-elect Trump for having seen his nominee not last, 2 weeks? But this will clear the way for the Senate Republicans to have somebody at the top who they can support.
Yeah.
Also, I would take issue with one thing he said in that tweet, which
just
is
one thing.
that
it was a scuffle.
One thing stood out to me is that he said the momentum was strong.
Oh,
I think the reporting shows very clearly that the momentum was not strong.
Or otherwise, he would still be the
100%
the nominee. Manu, I want to go to you on Capitol Hill. I know this just broke, but what are you hearing so far? I'm guessing the relief that Jeff Mason was just describing.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, there were a lot of Republican senators who were concerned about defying Donald Trump, but just really could not get themselves to supporting Matt Gaetz's nomination, not just because of the allegations in the House Ethics Committee report, some of which have been leaked to the press, but just about his style, the way he's battled with Republicans and Democrats alike. There are concerns about whether he can actually do this job. And just there's just a real belief among many Republicans that I spoke to that even if they went through this process, they'd be expending so much political capital to get him across the finish line. And that still might not be enough to vote yes on this confirmation that ultimately would go down. That made it so complicated to see how he could ultimately get through. It is still going to catch a lot of people by surprise because Gaetz was on Capitol Hill all day yesterday, meeting with senators, trying to urge them to keep an open mind through this confirmation process. They successfully delayed that.
So we all know tomorrow, Sonny Hostin's going to troll Matt Gaetz on The View. She's going to feel dignified, and she's going to feel that she's been the legal note she had to read after smearing Matt Gaetz. She's going to feel that she was right. She's going to feel that emboldened. She's going to go take this energy and go forward and continue to be an evil, smearing devil on The View. She's going to feel vindicated. That's the worst part of this. That's the worst part of this. But everything else is good, man. Matt Gaetz, no big deal. Get another attorney general, somebody who is, fit for the job, even though, Matt Gaetz could have grew into the job. But you'll get somebody, somebody that'll get confirmed. Somebody will get the job. Trump will find somebody. But this can be seen as a political loss for Trump. So the Democrats and the liberals in the mainstream media get to celebrate this loss. Get to play this up as like, things are falling apart in the Trump administration already. So, but no big deal, man. Just gonna get trolled for a couple of days about this. Get in the comment section. Peace. I'm out of here.